Chapter 7. I've been praying for change, but this is when my reality hits home. Face down on bed, my future flashes before my eyes, feeling frozen in time and in my body. A baby and the battle. It's the day after I return from hospital. Tommy insists on having sex, even though I'm still in a lot of pain. That's not happening, Tommy, I reason. I'm still sore. Oh, come on, babe, he says. I missed you last night. You know I can't go more than a few days without it. Walking into the lounge, I look at him and shake my head. Okay then, I'll sit on this chair and you get on your knees and sort me out. It's like a bad dream. I'm wanting to snap out of it, but my body feels drained. Don't do it and I'll have to get somebody else to sort me out, he says. That's your choice. Not only does he have his way, but he makes me do it right there with the curtains wide open. I guess he wants to show me who's boss. I've never felt so degraded in my life. A heavy darkness covers my mind, taking hold of my soul, like the empty night sky I'm seeing from my lounge windows. It opens the doors to my shadow world. It feels like mountains are surrounding me, closing in. This dark place lives in the back of my mind. It's how I see my life for the next few months. When I should be enjoying special time with my newborn, it feels like I'm walking in the dark instead. Tommy steals this time from me, smearing it with brokenness. Yes, we have good moments. Tommy cooks, pours me baths, says nice things, and still makes me laugh. He mows the lawns, tidies the house, and washes the dishes when I ask. He leaves kisses on my forehead and hugs me tightly, but chaos overshadows all those moments. He puts me under financial pressure to sustain his drug addiction and alcoholism. Text messages from other girls annoy me, and he laughs at my reactions. He leaves when he feels like it to spend the most of the day on missions, which are drug deals and attempts to steal things, with his friends. He and his mates make so much noise from late night drinking sessions that I can't sleep. He can't see how tiring it is for me to wake up every few hours to feed Dakota. My place is a party house. He has 5-day benders when strangers are throwing up in my kitchen sink, sleeping on the lounge floor, and straying into my bedroom when I'm trying to sleep. My bestie Sammy and brother Matt are among them. They're partying at home and away with Tommy, long into the night. One night Matt pees in front of my bedroom mirror, mistaking it for the toilet. What are you doing? That's not the toilet, I call out, half asleep, but fail to hold a poker face, breaking into a giggle. The days are going by like a blur for me as tiredness becomes my constant companion. Lugging Dakota in a front pack a few times a week makes me feel weak. I can't afford a pram. My only outings are driving Tommy around on his drug runs and supermarket shopping. Unknowingly, my baby time makes way for Tommy's needs and wants, even though he's cheating on me. Facing that means arguing with him. I can't justify losing my energy over it. Depression is setting in. Holing up in my bedroom, lying on my bed with Dakota. Never once walking around the neighbourhood in Hoon Hay with him. I'm feeling my energy gradually disappear as the days go by. One Friday night, Tommy's partying at home, so he tells me to pick up some drinks from a bottle store. It's the first time I leave my week-old premature baby with him. Leaving Dakota in his arms, I panic during the 5-minute drive down the road. Uneasy all the way there. I can't wait to have my boy back in my arms. Fighting the urge to hyperventilate on the way back home, I'm right to worry and find out quickly that I should trust my motherly instincts more. Doors wide open, the party's doubled in numbers with people milling throughout the house and some spilling out onto the front lawn. 2 guys popping pills and swigging beers approach me as I walk up the driveway. You're too good for Tommy, girl, one of them says with a chuckle. You'll be better off hanging out with one of us. We'd look after you, Lisa. I know that. Sure, I deserve better, but not them. Music blaring and alcohol flowing, these randoms have no regard for my newborn. Baby daddy among them doesn't see any issue either. What's wrong with me and my mates having a good time? Maybe the fact that you're putting our son at risk here, Tommy? Or can you not see that? Oh, cut it out, babe. Overreacting again. Just chill out. My son is fine with me. With every breath and irresponsible decision, Tommy's drifting away from me. Who is this guy? Do I know him? He can't even see our relationship going up in smoke and doesn't seem to want to put out the flames. In fact, he's fanning them. The drinks I'm carrying from the bottle store almost slip out of my hands as I look down the hallway. My beautiful prince is in the arms of a young woman whose face is caked with a lot of makeup. She's dressed in what looks like 2 push-up bras and a hemline that just tucks in her bum cheeks. Next to the young woman, dressed in similar fashion, is her friend. "Oh, he's so beautiful," says the one cradling Dakota, looking up at me. "So gorgeous," gushes the other, as I walk towards my son. "Oh, I know that all too well, Missy. Much more beautiful than the stranger's hands touching him in the mere 10 minutes I've been away from home." "Yes, I know," I say, talking through clenched teeth, knowing my nostrils are flaring but unable to control them. Grabbing Dakota out of her hold, I give his father a "what the F were you thinking" glare. Tommy just laughs. If my fiance thinks he can use my son to impress a couple of his skanks for a cheap lay, then he's got another thing coming. With Dakota barely 2 weeks old, Tommy insists on an 8-hour trip to visit his family in Mosgiel. His desire to show off his son and fatherhood to impress his family are obvious, but I'm not keen on going at all. In fact, it's the last thing I want to do. Tommy doesn't care, having it his way. Dakota's great-great-grandmother, Omar, a tiny Dutch lady, is almost 100 years old. We drive the longest distance, out of all of Tommy's relatives, for the visit to her place just out of the small town of Milton. She lives in a wee house with low ceilings and doesn't speak much English. Her wispy, silvery white hair neatly frames her face in a bob. Face covered in layers of wrinkles, her dark brown eyes reflect years of seeing mothers give birth to babies like Dakota and then raising them. Dressed in a pink and purple pullover with earthy tones that match the grand comfy chair she's sitting on, Omar cradles Dakota with a care reserved for treasures. A pink patterned throw is draped over the cushioned armchair, while a pile of books around her feet shows where she invests her time in the twilight years of her life. Her family members ask Omar questions amid a light-hearted conversation. It's in Dutch, so I focus on the body language. Her smiles and gasps as she lets her gaze stray around the room, bring it all back to the bundle of joy in her time-worn hands. Her eyes and mouth widen as decades of life welcome days of infancy wrapped tightly in the swaddling cloth that the hospital's gifted us through its newborn pack. She cuddles my precious boy in her frail embrace as if they're both prone to breaking. Omar fidgets, leaning back into the blue flowery cushion propping up her fragile back. Sensing her nerves, I nod to put her at ease as others chuck in a few words of encouragement. She coos through her cracked lips on catching glimpses of his orbs, making cameo appearances through his sleepy eyelids. With eyes that are at odds with her body, Omar frames Dakota's face before searching mine. She reads the exhaustion from breastfeeding, lack of sleep, and changing nappies, written all over my face like a book. Tommy helps with some of the nappy changing and isn't afraid of dirtying his hands. However, he makes no secret of his preference for outside sessions over baby duties. Omar's beautiful telepathy makes perfect sense, showing age has nothing to do with the miracle of motherhood. No words are required. The warmth from her gaze feels like a soothing balm to my aching muscles and drained soul. At that moment, the noise and mess in my life make room for comfort. My shoulders lower slightly. Taking a deep breath, I cherish the occasion and carefully file it in my memory bank. The trip to Tommy's family is odd because I've never met a lot of them before. It's discomforting because I sense they aren't as close to Tommy as he makes it out to be. His stepmother, brother and sister are lovely, making me feel at home. Thankfully, I'm not feeling completely alone when Tommy goes off to visit his friends without me, or pops outside to smoke weed with his dad, who I don't feel very comfortable around. After meeting his dad, I realise why Tommy is the way he is. A chip off the old block. On the way back home, we visit Tommy's friends in Dunedin. Wearing jeans and grungy black t-shirts, the couple are at least 5 or 10 years older than us. I sit on a couch with Dakota sleeping in my arms as Tommy and Clay go out the back to another room. "Hey girl," says Kat, who is Clay's girlfriend. Lucky you're holding that baby, otherwise you'd get the shit beaten out of you. My muscles tense up as I tighten my grip on Dakota. I remind myself to stay calm, say nothing. Just joking, girl, says Kat, breaking into laughter after reading the tension on my face. I try to smile, but no one needs to tell me when someone's joking. She most certainly isn't. When the guys return minutes later, a tight-lipped Kat behaves like everything's sweet. When we're back in the car, I give Tommy an earful all the way down the road. For F's sake, I growl, making sure Dakota doesn't come under any trauma. You make me go in there with our 2-week-old baby and you're putting him in danger. Chill out, babe, he says. They're my mates. What the F are you on about? I said, that crazy girl threatened to smash me and all you can say is chill out? Kat would have been joking. She's just a hard case. Well, excuse me for not laughing. It's not the sort of joke my circle of friends play on strangers. To rest my case, I go on to find out that Tommy owes his friends a lot of money. I'm still with Tommy, but that girlfriend's threat has become a game changer. It opens a gaping crack in my trust in Tommy. I stop doing things for him at the snap of his fingers. Dakota's my priority. I start caring less about what Tommy's doing. His late-night binge drinking and drug-taking aren't my worries now. Hovering over my sleeping beauty, watching his wee tummy rise and fall, and listening to his peaceful murmurs become my priorities. I'm too busy feeding, changing, and caring for Dakota, so Tommy has to look after himself. He finds other friends to do his drug runs and forms a group of dodgy mates which takes off on missions at all hours. On returning home from the trip, I develop a rash on my legs. An after-hours visit to the doctors in the city doesn't offer any answers but about what is causing it and why. I'm pretty sure it's stress. My body fighting against everything difficult in my life. Stress can trigger a lot of imbalances. It has been building up in my body over the past 18 months. However, the rash comes and goes so fast that although it makes me question the doctors and why they can't diagnose it, I forget about it, grateful that it's gone. A few days after we return from Mosgiel, Tommy makes me take him out to Christchurch Men's Prison, also known as Paparoa in Templeton. It's a 22-minute drive west on the outskirts of the city, so he can drop off some drugs to a friend of a friend. Here I am at the prison parking area with Dakota sleeping in his car seat. The 2-hour visit starts at 9:30 in the morning. That allows time for walking through the metal detectors, having guards pat you down, and drug dogs having a sniff. It's almost an hour after the visit ended, and there's no sign of Tommy. Cars are leaving and soon mine's the only one left. What the hell is happening? Turning the volume right down on the car radio, I loosen my hair, comb it with my fingers before giving the hair tie an extra loop and twist for a mum bun. Seconds later, I'm aimlessly tapping the buttons on my cell phone as a distraction. The sight of the prison fence wire pushes my anxiety levels through the roof. Dakota's muffled cry and stirring in the car seat becomes a much-needed distraction. My bubba needs a nappy change. Maybe my wee man can sense my agitation. Painting a worst-case scenario, I imagine becoming the one making the visit soon. Getting out of the car, I lay my boy on his back on the back seat to clean him up. But by then, tears stream down my cheeks. Decked in an oversized blue hoodie, Tommy makes me represent his affiliations. I can hear the footsteps of a corrections officer approaching me. Keeping my gaze downward, when he reaches the back of my car, I'm conscious of how he may judge me. The officer takes one look at me and, in a blink, takes in Dakota. Compassion written all over his melting eyes, he hesitates, looking like he wants to rescue me from my feelings of shame and isolation. The officer says nothing. He doesn't need to. You finish up, says the officer in a soft tone as I pick up Dakota, taking a deep breath before facing him. I'll wait. Are you waiting for someone? He asks eventually with a touch of hesitation. Yeah, Tommy, I say softly, clearing my throat. He's visiting someone. There's been an incident, he says, towing a pebble on the tar-sealed surface with his polished boot while shuffling some documents in his hands. I've got to do some paperwork, but Tommy will be out soon. I want to say something, but even my lungs are failing me. We exchange looks. He sighs. You're better than this, he carries on. I know that, and so do you. They eventually release Tommy, who runs across the car park to jump into the front passenger seat. He looks like a kid in a lolly shop, eyes wide open with joy and a stupid smile plastered across his face. "Holy shit, babe, they let me go," he says to me, laughing. Giving him the death stare, I wonder what's possessed him to be this excited. What the heck happened? Oblivious to my teary eyes, he rattles off his account of events. "He dropped the bloody thing, babe. I handed it over perfectly, but he messed it up." A hand on the gear stick and another on the steering wheel. I stare out the windscreen at the prison but see nothing. "Not my fault. His problem now," he carries on, and realising I'm not sharing his excitement. "He'll owe it to the guys it was meant to go to. Let's go." "Why'd they release you?" "'Cause I said I got my missus and my baby in the car." His sense of pride doesn't do anything for me, but we head off home, with him still tingling with joy on having escaped by the skin of his teeth. Neither of us can believe it. Dakota's only 4 weeks old when we leave him with Margaret and Tommy's stepdad, Kuro, in Linwood for a night because Tommy wants me to join him for drinks. We're only an hour into a party at his cousin's place in the notoriously gangster Hampshire Street of Aranui, when a few partygoers chuck bottles at my car. It's an accident because they were hurling them at someone else. Tommy's frothing at the idea of a punch-up. "Tommy, I'm going to get out of here," I say, "with or without you." "What the heck?" "You heard me," I snap back, fumbling for the car keys in my hoodie pocket. "Coming?" I ask, walking away without looking at him. "Oh, don't see why we have to leave so effing early," he grumbles, dragging his heels behind me. "It's my auntie's place. We're all good, babe." I look at him. No words required. "My cousins will look after you too, you know. You're whānau now. You know half of them. Nobody touches my baby mama." It makes me wonder how he can't see why this isn't a good idea. As we drive off home my first baby-free night, I note a big shift in my love for my precious baby and Tommy's needs, taking a back seat. When I refuse to go out with Tommy, the parties come to our doorsteps. He carries on like we don't have a baby. While most parents are bonding and enjoying special moments with their newborn child, I'm just trying to survive. I'm adjusting to mum life, but Tommy's still stuck in the single man's world. Dakota's 8 weeks old now, and we're 2 weeks into a new house in Sydenham, closer to town and work. Ian, the manager of the accounting firm KPMG, asks me to return to work early because I think he's worried about me. Frankly, I just want to sleep. Dakota keeps me awake, but the constant partying, with Tommy taking centre stage, is robbing me of sleep. "We need you back, Lisa. Got a new client for you to meet. It's a big one," Ian calls me one afternoon, trying to be subtle and bribing me, knowing I like a challenge. "You do realise I'm basically the Walking Dead, surviving on coffee and energy drinks," I say with hollow laughter. "I'm up every 4 hours and it's pretty full on at home. I do need some sanity back in my life though." "Bugger that. Come back to work for a break," he says with a chuckle. "Yeah, I could be keen." He skips to planning mode, assuming I'll be good to go, but aware I'm reliable. "I'll sort out a meeting with this new client and you let me know if you can make it. Be good to have you in the office again." It comforts my soul to know Ian hasn't forgotten that young girl in the interview room just over a year ago, convincing him she was willing to give her everything if he would only give her a chance. He wants to see that fire again. Sensing I'm like dying embers in a fireplace, he wants to see me glow again. I have no choice but to leave Dakota with Tommy. Mum offers to go to my place to help Tommy bottle feed Dakota, knowing he isn't a big fan of it. She finds herself popping in most days to do some housework, any excuse really to visit, because she's worried. Mum lets me know that Tommy's drinking and smoking weed while our baby sleeps in his car seat. This shocks me. Feeling trapped and having to go to work, I wonder how it's possible to continue doing it with the mess at home. Often returning home drunk, one Wednesday night Tommy and Noddy bring back 2 blonde girls. I let Noddy stay for a few weeks because he's got nowhere to go. "Get the F out of my house right now," I tell the blondes after dragging my tired body out of bed. My hair is a mess, I've got 0 patience, and I'm ready to smack a bit of sense into anyone who dares to piss me off. "Is she serious?" one of the girls asked Tommy. The boys laugh before nodding in agreement for the girls to leave. The fuming girls pack their things and leave. It's ludicrous. Only a few nights earlier, a fight breaks out in the lounge just a wall away from where Dakota's sleeping. That opens my eyes. Although the guys know me, they apologise for taking swings at Noddy, acting like they really care about me and Dakota. None of this is okay though. Nothing feels right. As Dakota approaches 10 weeks old, that same week, on a Thursday night, I receive a text message. Know where Tommy is? My older brother Jono asks. Somebody's house, I text back. Tommy returns later that night, hiding a huge graze on his face. What happened to you? About 10 people jumped me, babe. What? Who were they? I don't know, doesn't matter now. I let it go until the next day when Jono and his mate turn up at my work on level 3 of the office building to ask me about last night. Embarrassed that my colleagues will find out the state of my life, I intercept Jono and his mate as soon as they exit the upstairs lift to ensure the conversation is out of the earshot of the receptionist. That piece of shit wasn't at a mate's place last night, Lisa, Jono says. He was in town. What do you mean? How do you know? Because I saw him, Lisa. It's not even that he's cheating on you or anything, because I can't prove that. But he's effing lying to you, and I don't like it. It's the principle. No need for me to clarify that. I wait for him to carry on. So, I kicked the wanker's head in the gutter and told him to get the F home to his baby and my sister. On returning home from work that evening, I confront Tommy. Jono says he saw you in town last night. Why'd you say you were at a mate's place and that all those people jumped you? Tommy loses it. He turns me around and throws me effortlessly onto the bed. As I lay there, I feel the energy from the sun trying to penetrate the yellow curtains. Dakota's fast asleep, not far from me on the other side of the room in his wooden cot. My granddad had built that cot for me and my cousins. I see his wee body behind the oak handcrafted cot bars. Tommy, fuming behind me, pulls me back to the now. I've been praying for change, but this is when the reality hits home. Face down on my bed, my future flashes before my eyes, feeling frozen in time and in my body. Images of Dakota growing up roll past me from an old silent movie reel, the pictures flashing so fast I can barely keep up. It's like a dream, but I'm awake. A vision of incomparable force just behind my closed eyes. I've heard of this happening to other people. I thought they were signs of insanity. The truth is, I can't imagine this or make it up, even if I try. In one fell swoop, I've never been so terrified. Not because of what my life is going to look like, but because I don't have the strength to save myself from what's coming. More importantly, what my son's life is going to be like. I have no doubt this is God challenging me. Live like this or get out for my son's sake. What he'll look like every year until he's 20 horrifies me. My son will go on to look and act like his father. It breaks my heart, but it gives me something I haven't had for a very long time. Power. Rising off the bed slowly with a deep breath, I turn to face my abuser. His "how dare you stand up to me" expression is a mixture of surprise and bewilderment. Get out of my house, I roar, finding a deep voice that rumbles from my chest with a strength and tone that I know, with every part of me, is not mine. Tommy stares at me before turning towards the hallway. He doesn't stop, not a sound. My 5 words hit him like bare knuckles against weak armour, like he had hit me before. My sigh of relief replaces panic. I trace his footsteps past the kitchen and out to the backyard. If you come back here, I'll ring Jono, I warn, feeling God has moved within me to speak up. Tommy remains speechless. He's overcome, and in that moment, the truth sets me free. His face spells borderline fear and uncertainty. At a time when he would have lashed out, pushed, or yelled at me, he comes across empty. My thoughts are scattered, but there's no mistaking the sense of relief. I can't even give the moment the justice it deserves. The power is new, but it's too early to know how and when I'll need to use it again. End of chapter 7.